Okay, and I'm going to come back to talk a little bit. Let's bring up our presentation. And again, this was just a sound check. Hi, this is Larissa Uceda. We're doing a quick sound check. It's Rosie and I, and we're all set for the Google Classroom webinar. So hope you are too. And we'll be back in a few minutes. So just doing a quick, another sound check. Hi, and welcome. My name is Larissa Uceda, and I'm here with Rosie Castle for the Google Classroom Intro webinar. So welcome. We're going to start out with a short video while some people are joining us. We'll discuss everything in this video, but just kind of sit back and it's just an overview of Google Classroom. Okay, so in that video, Google Classroom was coming. Well, that was last September, October, and it has been around for a little less than a year. So you are on the beginning of Google Classroom, the beginning of the Google Classroom train. Here we are. So we hope you're all set up with the webinar in one window and the discussion board in another. And so you can see them both will be working. So you're going to be multitasking, watching the video, and then you can do questions, and we'll ask you for some input. So first, if you could just type hello and your school, that would be great. My name is Larissa Uceda, and I'm with Instructional Technology. And I'm here with Rosie. Rosie's on the discussion board.
Hi, everyone.
What do you want to say for yourself, Rosie?
And we do hope that you have the Q&A open, and it is on the link that's right above the play button where you pushed play to get the webinar going. And that way you can post your questions and submit your answers as you're going along. And if you do have any problems throughout the webinar, you can always email or text me, and that number is right here on the screen.
So we don't want any stress. If worst case, you can text your comments or email, or text for help or email.
And on that Q&A or discussion board, so that you can refresh the thread, all you need to do is press the F5 key.
Click on the discussion board and then press the F5.
Yes. Or if you happen to be on a Mac, that is your Command and R key.
Yep. Okay, cool. So we'll give you a minute to sign in, and then we'll get started.
Okay, so we've got several people here.
Excellent. All right. Thank you for taking time during the summer to come to a webinar. Hopefully you'll be happy you did. We always leave with everyone pleased. This is it's a fun PD because it's really exciting. So first we wanted to start with some background about Google Apps in our district. So last year we had a large Chromebook initiative. Chromebooks were introduced into about 12 to 14 schools, both elementary and high schools in the district. What that did is there was a need, because when you log on, you need a Google account. So every student and teacher, and actually any employee in the district, has a district Google account. Even if you don't know it, you have it. Even if you don't have Chromebooks, you have a Google account. So everyone can use Google Classroom and also all the apps and that come along with the Google account. So you may ask, what is that Google account? It's your ID at rcsd121.org, or if it helps you to remember, rcsd121. So the goal is that eventually one device per student, 1-to-1. Okay, so teachers all have logons, and you'll need that for the online component of the class. Students, their logon is exactly the same. Their full 890 number and the same thing, rcsd121.org. The day before school starts, all student passwords are reset to their birthday. 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 4-digit year. High school students are used to logging onto a PC, changing their password. Whenever they log on to a district PC, change their password, it automatically changes their Google password. It's like within seconds. Same with teachers. When we're all bothered to change our password, it changes your Google account. Okay, some at elementary schools, some teachers just leave the default password as their password. So that's an option too. Okay, good. So we're ready to go. What is Google Classroom? We're going to spend some time just giving you background to get a good feel, because you may not have used or really have a good feel for Google Classroom. So Google Classroom is an online tool for teachers to assign and collect work. Okay, we're getting rid of the paper here. It organizes assignments, and it's a way to communicate with your students at any time of the day. Okay, so students can access Google Classroom from home, from the library, anywhere with internet access, as well as the teachers. Google Classroom manages that document sharing. Okay, so it's going to take a lot of that back-end work of sharing a document, naming a file, and organizing them. All those things that take a lot of your time. And we'll show you, compare a couple ways of sharing files, and you'll see the difference. One-stop shopping. If a student is out, you can send them to Google Classroom. They can check it during the day if you're posting your assignments there. It really basically simplifies your life. Okay, it's automating some of that workflow that you would have to do by hand. Okay, this was you yesterday, and then you're going to be on your iPhone correcting papers tomorrow. Well, maybe in September. Okay, Rosie's going to pipe in. Yes.
And as you can see by this picture, you see that the teacher is grading the paper, maybe giving some feedback. And that's one of the wonderful things that you can do inside of Google Classroom, is that quick feedback that you can give a student. And that way a student can quickly maybe resubmit the work.
Nice. Okay, back to what Google Classroom is not. It is not a grade book. It is not a student management system. It is not a robust learning management system. We like to say that it's a light LMS, okay, so a light version. It is designed to work along with all of our existing tools, so PowerSchool, Parent Connect, PowerTeacher. Okay, so you have some options, and we want to make sure that you get a good feel for all of your options, and then you choose what works for you. And it may be Google Classroom, it may be working in the Drive, it may be e-learning. But at least you know all the options. So one option is for students to log into their Google account, go to the Drive, create a Google Doc or a presentation, and share it with their teacher. The teacher would get the email in their Gmail account, their Google Gmail account. They just click on that link, or in their Drive, they can see it in their shared file. And they can click, view the student work, comment on it, print it. Okay, it's a great way to access student work. That's the first way. And I want to take a minute. Let's go and show you what that would look like.
So this would be if you're working with just the Drive.
Yep, just working with the Drive. So I'll be Joe, okay, because he's my student, Joe student. And I'm on a Chromebook or I'm on a desktop, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go to Google Drive. And this is my Drive. And under New, this is where I can create a document. So I'm going to create a new Google Docs. It opens the Google Docs for me. The first thing I have to do is title my document. Goals. So I'm going to write about my goals for this year. And then Joe student. Okay, so this you would be teaching your students how to put their name, and then we're good. Joe student.
So putting their normal heading on their paper, they're going to start typing their goals. So far you had to create the document, you had to give it a title, they had to put their heading on there and start doing the assignment.
Yep. Okay, so that's everything they've had to do so far. And now when they're done, or they can share at any point, there's that blue share button up here. Okay, so the student's going to click, and then I'm going to share this with Rosie, my teacher. Okay, so I find my teacher. Okay, I'm going to share it with myself instead, with USADA. So I see my teacher, and I send that, and that puts it in their shared documents. All right, so that's one choice. And when the teacher gets it, they can leave comments, they can let the student know what their comments, and they can look back at it. So let's bring back. Oops. Our presentation. So that's one option. The next option is using Google Classroom. So this is what we'll talk more about and show you, obviously, the student and the teacher view. But the teacher creates an announcement or an assignment. The student can create or use attached documents, and then they turn in their assignment through Google Classroom. So that's all done on the site. It works in conjunction with the Google Drive, but the student and the teacher go to Google Classroom, the website. The teacher can view, grade, and return work. Okay, there's a third choice. In our district, you are taking an online PD. You are in e-learning, which is a robust learning management system. So there is a 6-hour course that teachers can take, creating your virtual classroom. And after that, you will have a domain where you can create your course, and there are a lot more options for customizing your class. Students would get content, assignments, submit work, and documents, and post to the discussions through e-learning. So these are kind of your 3 choices that we want to make sure you understand before we get going. So we're going to jump into the student view of Google Classroom. And just ahead of time, we want you to know that after we go through Google Classroom, the student view, you'll be asked to post to the discussion board what you notice or wonder about the student view. I see some, Rosie's, you're busy on that discussion board, right?
Yes, trying to answer a few questions as they come in.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to jump into the student view.
Okay.
Okay, so students, when they log on to the computer, they have this Google Classroom icon. So they can just click there. The first time a student goes to Google Classroom, they're not going to see this. They're going to just see a picture, and they need to choose their role as a student. Once they see that, they'll see a similar page to this. Okay, they'll have a plus, they'll have hot dogs, and then they can click on the class to go into it. I can see that this class I haven't joined yet. So if you invite students, they will get your invite and they will click join. Okay, other students, you may give a code to join. So I'm going to go into this class. Again, I'm Joe in the class. And we're going to start out with this, the stream. Google Classroom kind of has a social media, Facebook feel where the newest assignment goes to the top, and then it's a stream that you scroll down. So pardon my scrolling. Okay, I want to get down to an announcement. This is what an announcement looks like. A teacher can give you steps. They can provide information for you, provide a link to a website, provide a PDF or some information for you. It's a great way to get out links to students. So you want them in this announcement. We want you to go to BrainPop. It gives the logon information, watch the video, and then complete a handout. So students don't have to turn anything in for an announcement. Okay, they would click here, log in, watch their video. I'm going to stop it. Okay, and then they're going to either comment. You could also have them, I see some people are commenting, so they would finish this in their video center. Please note though that, look at, oh, I turned it off so I can't comment. There are comments here. You can, as a teacher, set it up so students can comment on an announcement or an assignment. And you can turn it off, you can turn it on. Students have these 3 dots, and they can delete their post. I have muted Joe, so Joe has no place to comment. So as a teacher, you can decide, you could turn on the whole class can comment, or you can turn it off. It is a nice way. You could have a video link here, and then they have to comment one thing they learned as their ticket out the door. Okay, but we want to make sure that you know, as a teacher, you can turn that off. Okay, so Joe is not able to comment. So that's an announcement. Now let's go up and, sorry, I'm going to scroll all the way to the top. And there is a new assignment here, number 9. Notice that they're all numbered as we're going down. So I'm going to open it, and when a student opens, they have two tabs. Okay, this is, they have the instructions tab where they look, they have their learning targets, and then I can summarize an independent reading book, I can describe, and now I'm going to create document the steps. Create document, type your paragraph, turn it in. The student then goes to your work. If you had any links, they would be here. And it said for me to create a document. So I'm going to create a document. Remember how we did this in the drive, how it's different now. Oh, look at it, it created it. Okay. Students are very excited about this. They don't have to name it, it's already done. They click and open it. Okay, so Google Classroom has done all that, where the student had to create the document and name it. It's already done. So Joe is going to summer. I read.
Oh, so far, you create the assignment, you ask the student to do some work, and all the student had to do is basically click on that link and start typing.
Yeah, they created a document. They just went create document and yep, and opened it up. Pretty easy, huh? And now they have, as you can see, the sharing, that back end sharing, they don't have to do that. They don't have to put your name in. All they do is turn it in. So I'm going to click turn it in. It brings me back to my Google Classroom. And I'm going to leave an email or a note. Okay, and turn it in. Now, when a student leaves a comment when they're turning in, the teacher gets a notification. This happens sometimes. You'll get an error when you're creating a file. The best thing to do, because we are on the web, is just to refresh. So I'm going to try turning it in, and then I would just refresh. This time it just did it. I tried it one more time, but that happens once in a while. Usually a refresh works best, or even just log out, open your browser back up. So I have now submitted this document. It did that sharing. It sent it to my teacher. Okay, I can't keep working on it right now because it's like a physical paper that was handed in. My teacher now owns it. Oh yeah, I did read a book. I just remembered. I read a book. Students can unsubmit, keep working on it, and submit it back to their teacher. Okay, so that is possible. They just have to unsubmit. But I'm going to leave it.
You know, we had a question pop up, and they said, whenever you numbered the assignments, did Google Classroom automatically number it for you, or did you have to come up with your numbering system?
Oh, good question. I'm going to come back to the assignments. We just put it in the title of the assignment, so we did that. And I think it's a good practice because it's much easier to say to go to assignment number 8 than for them to find the specific assignment. So I think it's a best practice I would use.
And what if I wanted my assignments organized by units?
This is where Google Classroom doesn't give you a lot of, it is organized by when you post items. So it will be, assignment 10 or whatever will be on top. You can put something like if it was part of a unit back to getting to know you, or a specific book, you can put the name of that unit in the name, and then they would be able to refer to that.
Okay.
That was a long answer for a really simple question. I hope you stayed with me on that one. I'm usually a little more succinct.
But it just gives us an idea about the naming conventions. You have lots of flexibility in your naming of your assignments.
Okay, you'll be careful when you ask me another question. Okay, so that was the stream. And again, we saw an announcement which gave information and assignment. This is really nice over to the left. It shows any assignments that are due this week. Okay, if it's due next week, it's not going to show it here. If I click on View All, my kind of assignment list, it could be your students' to-do list, comes up of all of their assignments, and they can go to different classes and scroll down to see which assignments they have left. Red means I'm late. And then they can click over to the done, and this is where they would see their grade. So they'll know a teacher graded it, and they can click on it to see the comments. Okay. And to get back, I'm going to come up to this classroom menu. We like to call it the hot dogs. Okay. When you click on the hot dogs, you can click back on the class. Okay. One more thing, hot dogs, if you click home, you're going to see that home. You're going to click right on the class. You can also do that. So that was the stream. Next up, classmates. When I click on classmates, I just see all the people in the class. And it says there's an email. If I click, it's going to email them. Currently, that Gmail for students is turned off. That may change, but at this point, in most schools, it's turned off. Okay, they have other emails they can use for grade 7 up. If it does change, they would be able to email here. Okay, next tab is the About. This is where my teacher has just put information about the class, okay, and any documents that are kind of full for the class, not a specific assignment. And then I can see my 2 teachers. The other important thing here is it gives the name of the folder in the drive. So Google Classroom is not just storing everything for you, it's working with Google Drive in conjunction. So I'm going to click on this and show you what that means. So students in their drive, and also teachers, once you sign on to Google Classroom, you now have a folder called Classroom in your Google Drive. You may not know it's there, but it is. I'm going to go into it. I can see all my classes, okay? I'm Joe, I'm only in one class, so I see just that one class. If I go into that folder, there's all my work. So it is really a portfolio of that student's work, and look how, oh my gosh, it's actually in folders, and everything is named. So it is there for the student. They're usually not going to come here and really worry about it, but it will be there for yours, next year. But they're going to access their assignments through the Google Classroom interface. Okay, that was a quick student view. So take a minute, and can you give us, Rosie, she needs a job over here, keep her busy. Can you give us something that you notice or wonder about the student view? And I'm going to stop talking for a minute.
Interesting.
All right, I'm going to come back on. A lot of posts in the discussion board. We're going to next look at the teacher view. Someone asked about can co-teachers view, and what's nice about Google Classroom is, yes, you can have two teachers with the same rights in a classroom.
I also have a question about can I assign something to separate groups? And that's sort of where we were mentioning the thing about your assignment titles. If you wanted to assign something to separate groups, then in your assignment title, you could assign that assignment to a certain group. So that group would only do that part of the project. That's one way to separate it by groups.
Mm-hmm. So all the students will see the assignment, but they'll have to choose the one that's right for them. You could also have multiple Google Classroom classes if it's not flexible grouping, if they're staying in that group for a while.
Someone else is asking, I wonder how this could be used in K2. And in the announcements, you saw where you could share links and you could share videos. And so that would be a wonderful way if you were going to use this just in lower grades, because we know lots of times our students' videos are a wonderful resource, or just getting a link out to the students is sometimes a difficult task.
Okay. So I think we're going to answer a lot of these questions too as we go.
Yep.
Someone asked if students could see other students' work, and no, they can't, because it's submitted just to the teacher. There are ways if you wanted to work collaboratively, or they wanted to have someone edit their work, that they could share it before they submit it to you. A teacher could also post a student's work as an exemplar, which is a great idea too. All right, but let's jump into the teacher view. These guys are getting excited. There are a lot of questions. We haven't even seen the teacher view yet. So the next thing you're going to be asked to respond to is the teacher view versus the student view. When we're done talking, post a difference that you notice between the student and the teacher view. Okay, so to log on to Google Classroom as a teacher, you should have this RCSD folder. It's not here, but soon it will be here. But I just want to make sure that you see that you should have that folder. You can type classroom.google.com, okay? And then put it in your favorites, classroom.google.com. And when it comes up, I have a lot of classes, so bear with me. I can scroll down and click on my class, or I can click here and go to my class. Now, some of you may have already worked with Google Classroom last year. If you have classes from last year, we have the directions in the online component, but you can archive a class from this home page. Okay, so that works just like the student hot dogs. The teachers works the same way. You have all the classes that you are teaching, and then classes that you are enrolled in. So yes, you can be a student and a teacher. Okay, some people have used this for professional development or just sharing resources. So here I am a teacher, and again we have the stream. You can see everything that's posted, and a couple things on the assignment. I can see who's done and who's not done and the due date. So to post an announcement, I'm going to click up here, and you can just go ahead and type your announcement. You can attach a file, attach a file from your Google Drive, like a Google Doc. attach a YouTube video or a link. If it's a video from another, not YouTube, from another site, you can just put the link in here. Rosie you mentioned earlier that it's a great way to get links out to your students. Yes, even if you just use it for that, that's a good start. We like to start simple. A lot of you guys like to jump right in, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what's nice is you can also post, if you're, especially at secondary, you may teach multiple sections. You can post to all of those sections at once. So you can post to one class or 3 classes. The assignment is the same way with just a few more areas. So again, I'm going to number my assignment, and then I would put my learning targets, my steps, a due date. And again, I have all these media items I can attach. What's really nice is both for an announcement and assignment is I can do it, save it as a draft. That just came out the end of last year. So there was a bunch of updates to do Google Classroom. And now I have it in my drafts. The drafts is right under here. So you can get post items ahead of time and just not, work on your assignments ahead of time. You could have your co-teacher then go look over them. And this might be a way that you can work together on an assignment before you post it. Okay, so that's the draft. I'm really excited about the drafts, can you tell? It's a nice feature. Okay, so that was an announcement, assignment, the drafts. Just so you know, there's those 3 dots. Whenever you want to change something to edit, you just click there and edit. So if you wanted to change a due date, you can easily do that. Whenever you see those 3 dots, you've seen them on the home page here, it's an editing. Okay, good. We had seen how the students had like a to-do list on the side. The teacher has the same thing. So upcoming assignments, there's not a link here, but under the home, they can go to assignments and the teacher can see all of their assignments, okay, in a specific class. And then when they're done with that, they can move it over to review, that they're finished. And just by here, mark it over to mark as reviewed. Okay, I'm going to come back out and go back into the class. Oops. So that was the stream. The next tab is the students tab, and the teacher can do a lot more from here. This is where it gives you a code, and you can provide that code, especially at secondary. You're not going to want to invite all your students for all your classes. Easiest, put that code on the board for one day. They join your class, they're in. All right, so the code is under students. For elementary, you may be teaching ELA math. You may want to invite them to more than one class. You will probably come here, create a contact group, and invite your class. Okay, and we'll go through this. This is all the how-to. This is big picture overview. All the how-tos are in the online class. Okay. Also, if you have one student or an administrator that wants to see your class, you can come in here and search and just find one teacher or student to invite to your class. Okay. This is also where, remember, I was muted, Joe's student was muted. Well, you can give students access, all your students, and I'm going to click that. It clicks on all the students, and under actions, I can unmute them. So I think you should mute in the beginning, because the second students get on, they're going to be chatting in that stream before you even have time to talk about the digital citizenship and what's appropriate. But But it is a great way that you can turn on, and it may be a ticket out the door, it may be a comment on a video, and they love to type comments and to be heard. So that is a way you can turn on and off those comments.
So I guess one of the things that we've had teachers mention to us before is it's very nice to have a pre-teaching lesson about using comments in your classroom, as you do with any type of lesson or anything activity that you're going to do in your classroom. Is best practice is what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, what are your expectations, and how do you want it used in your classroom.
Okay, so thanks. That was the Students tab, and now we have the About tab. This is where co-teachers, you can invite a teacher. So, and you can invite quite a few teachers here. You just click and invite a teacher, which is nice. They have the same roles, responsibilities. They can grade, they can add assignments. I believe only the original teacher can delete the whole class, but everything else is the same. All right, so co-teachers, it's actually very nice for you. As far as what you can do here, information, again, that Google, the name of the classroom in Google Drive is there. And here you can add materials. So if you have a folder in Google Drive, if you have links to your textbook that you use often, you can put those links here and they don't get lost in the feed. They're always right here on that About tab. One thing that I didn't mention was the theme. Right at the top, the teacher can select from a bunch of themes or upload a picture of their dog or of their class. And this is helpful for students to differentiate your class from their other classes. Okay, great. So that was a good, if you could now go ahead and post a difference that you notice between the student view and the teacher view. Okay, good. We had a lot of good feedback on the differences. Now, I want to come back and we have two things to do before we leave. We're a teacher and let's look at that submitted. I have to go to my stream. And let's look at that assignment that was submitted. So I can see that one student is done and 9 are not done. I can go in, and this is where teachers' feedback are saying, teachers are saying, oh my gosh, I'm so on top of my grading. I give them comments, send it back. This is where they're jumping right in. You can do this from your phone too. So I'm gonna click on here, and I see that Joe submitted something. I click on his name, here's the file, and then I see the comment. Okay, it's a Google Docs. I open it. Again, it always opens into a different tab. Okay, Joe needs to do some work. You can leave comments in here. So you just highlight, please continue. Or not, but this is a great way to conference, or at least get your conference notes in for the student and then meet with them. You can leave comments. When you're done, come back to the assignment and I can click here to grade it. Now, it was out of 100 points. You can change that, and you can also click, if you're using a 4-point rubric, you can change it here. I could have done that when I created the assignment also. So I'm going to grade it, give him a 1, actually a 0 because there was nothing done. Please finish and resubmit. Now, I have, and I'm going to post that. I haven't returned it to the student, so I've graded it, but I need to return it. And that, it automatically checks it, but you see this button here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click and return it. And now that student, it changes the rights in Google Classroom, so, or in the Google Docs, so now the student has full rights again. They're an owner and they can type in it. Okay, until I returned it, they couldn't type in it. Now they can work in it and then resubmit it to me. Okay, so that is looking at student work. Good. So one other thing about assignments that we want to cover. In your assignment, you saw that you can attach documents. We spend a lot of time, our suggestion is in this class, keep it simple. Okay, create an assignment where the student creates a document. Okay, keep it simple. But you know, you guys are go-getters, and a lot of you are going to want to attach a document for the student to work in. We do cover that in the intermediate class, and there's lots of time for you and support with videos. Please know that if you attach a Word document or a PDF in Google Classroom, the students cannot type in it. Okay, we just want to make sure you really are clear on that. You can attach one of those documents for them to view, but not type in. If you want them to type in it, it has to be in the Google form, so like a Google Doc. You can convert your files, and we have videos at the bottom of the assignment for those of you that really want to do that. And again, that is covered in the intermediate level. Okay, so here's an example of an assignment that has a Google Docs. Again, intermediate level, you don't need to go there, but some of you are ready to jump in. Okay, this is probably the most exciting part of Google Classroom. They have apps in the Play Store and the App Store. The app has come a long way. There have been a lot of updates. So definitely download Google Classroom. Not just Google Classroom, Google Drive, Google Docs. So you'll be able to look at all that on your phone. So if you open an assignment. It's in Google Docs. If you have the app, you can open the assignment, view the work, comment, and return it to the students. Okay, this is a really nice feature. A lot of our students don't have internet at home, but they may have access to an iPhone or a smartphone.
And when you use the app, whether on an iPad or your iPhone or your Android, it's very nice because that's a quick, easy way to get those pictures, get the quick videos into your Google Classroom. So it's just another quick, easy way to integrate all those things that you're already doing in the classroom, or maybe that science experiment, or whatever you're doing you want to capture and bring it into your Google Classroom and discuss it with the kids. That's how you can do it.
It's so easy. It's very cool. Okay, as a wrap up, we talked about the 3 different options. You can share files and use the Drive with your students. This may be a good way to get started. This could be at any grade. So some teachers choose to start here and then move into Google Classroom or e-learning. Some teachers choose to jump right in. It is up to you. Google Classroom we suggest for grades 3 through 12. Okay, there's minimal setup. Once you start doing a lot of work in the Drive, it gets really complicated and messy. So if you're doing a lot in the Drive, it's probably time to go to Google Classroom or e-learning. The last step, and that is taking the online class for creating a virtual classroom, is to create a class in e-learning. This will give you some more advanced features. You can change the order. You can attach assessments to the learning standards. There's a lot you can do. So that is suggested grade 7 through 12. Okay, so just as a wrap up. Good. So this is concluding the webinar component. We would like you to post one thing you learned or one question you have to the discussion board. And then you can be on your merry way and we will see you online. This was the first component. The second component is the class in e-learning, all those how-tos. And you'll have 1 week till next Wednesday to complete that. So leave us a quick post of one thing you learned, one question, and enjoy your day. And again, thanks for taking time during your summer to take our webinar.
Okay, and we'll see you online.
All right, thanks. Rosie, you did a great job on the discussion board. I can't wait to read all your comments.
Thanks, Larissa.
Sure, anytime. We have a couple questions about Chromebooks. Now, there was more further rollout to some more schools this summer, and you'll just have to check in with your school if you do have Chromebooks and how they are allocating those Chromebooks. Again, you do not need Google Classroom Chromebooks to use Google Classroom. So just know that is possible.
And you did go over the archiving an old class, right?
And, I touched on it briefly, yes, but it is also the directions. It's from the home page, and it is in the online class.
Okay.
So if you have an old class, you'll see that.
Okay.
Once again, we're going to sign off. If you have we'll probably just answer a few last questions, and then we'll see you online. This video, one of the videos will be in the task 2 if you want to come back to it to refer to it.